To the best of my memory, it was a nice late summer day. My assignment that day was to cover golf at Quicksilver Golf Club in Midway. It's in Washington County. I was driving home from the golf tournament when I heard about the plane crash.
Gosh, what the fuck? There's a bunch of calls. Beaver County 911, what is your emergency?
Hey, airplane crash. Green Garden Plaza, right on the other side of Green.
What kind of an airplane?
I don't know. We'll
All right, thanks. All right, bye-bye. Hey, we got an airplane crash. Green Garden Plaza.
Right about that time when I hit the Hopewell South Heights exit, they had a news flash saying a small plane had crashed near Green Garden Road in Hopewell Township. Well, right away, it dawned on me that that was the very next exit, the Aliquippa exit, and that I was maybe a mile or two away.
I just happened to have my wife's cell phone because she was in the hospital, but she just delivered our first son. So I just happened to have her cell phone, you know, just so I can call her, check on her, see how she's doing. Greg Brown paged me, and he said, there's been a crash, there's been a plane crash. I said, for real? And like, I can't believe, you know, I thought it was a small plane, actually. He said, no, it's been a big plane crash in Aliquippa. And I still didn't believe him. And I like, you sure? And I asked him again, are you sure? He said, yes, it's been a big crash. He said, get your butt down there. I got on Route 60. At that time it was called Route 6376, now they changed it. And I was really close to the highway, so I hit right towards Aliquippa.
Right as you go over this hill and start leveling out, you can see the whole landscape of that area down there, and it was pretty obvious at that point it was a major significant crash of some kind. First of all, because of the smoke, and even beyond that, there were several police cars, ambulances, and fire trucks speeding down Green Garden Road.
There were cars everywhere. There was people everywhere. This is a busy highway, and there was people running around, walking around, kids on bicycles. It was kind of chaotic.
Yeah, is it a commercial jet, ma'am? Ma'am, is it a commercial jet?
Oh, geez.
Like a U.S. Air, or is it a big one or a little one?
I don't know.
I immediately drove down toward Green Garden Road, and I made a right-hand turn into the PennDOT Service Center right there, and parked my car there, got out, ran across the bridge that crosses over Raccoon Creek, made a right-hand turn on a road that was there, and then cut up into the hillside, cutting through the trees and the hills and the grass and so forth. I was not actually at the exact point of impact, okay, for a lot of reasons. First of all, my main concern was not to interfere with the rescue people that were there. Number two is that it was really intense up there, intense heat, intense fumes, and I wasn't dressed properly to be in that environment. And the next day, my face was all like I had a sunburn. It was all like pink and red from the intense heat here. Wow.
Yeah,
this is the exact spot we were at, right here. Yep.
I think I photographed from this point a little further up.
Yeah.
You know, like this. It was filled with fire trucks here, and I basically stayed on this road here and just photographed what I can see.
Yeah.
So I started grabbing my camera gear out the car, and as I was doing this, a kid asked me, "You're a photographer for the newspaper?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "You know, I can show you a back way up to the scene, to the site." So I said, "All right." I took him up on the offer, and we started up this really, really steep hill. By the time we got to the top of it, that's when I first smelled the smoke, and I ran to a police officer who was patrolling the far end of the road, and the officer said, "There's nothing there to shoot. There's nothing to take photographs of." He looked at me and said, "There's nothing there." And I looked at him like, it's just been a plane crash. You know, there got to be something there, you know. And in my head, you know, watching movies, you know, they always show the plane coming in intact or, you know, a wing off here, it slid, you know, it never dawned on me that the plane was basically disintegrated, you know. There's another feeder road. It was like a fork in the road, and he told me to go up to the other feeder road and talk to the people up there. And that's when I first saw my first piece of the plane. As I was walking up the path, I looked to my right and I could see just a piece of the wreckage. And I could see debris in the trees and smoke. It was kind of quiet. There wasn't a lot of yelling. There wasn't a lot of sirens or just a lot of lights, you know, blinking lights. And at this point, it was getting really dark. So I can barely make out what I was looking at. You know, I couldn't really tell what I was seeing. You know, and I started photographing whatever I can photograph, and it was pretty dramatic for me. You know, it's probably my biggest ever assignment I've ever been on, or it was bizarre.
And I just recall the faces of the firemen and emergency people. Just they were blank.
Yes,
you know,
yeah, that's the word I want to say.
They were blank, you know.
And I spoke to some of the firefighters, and they're just shaking their head like, you know, this is unbelievable. You can't believe this happened here. You know, that's the thing. It's hard to believe that it happened here. You know,
right?
That was my thing. Like when I first heard it, I even questioned the guy. You sure it was a plane crash? You know, like what? I couldn't, you know, I couldn't believe it, and it was shocking. That's for sure.